Full metal jacket. This is one of the most common types of bullet in the world. It has a soft lead core wrapped in a harder metal shell, usually copper or steel. The jacket helps the bullet maintain its shape as it travels down the barrel and through the air, which gives it better accuracy and range. Militaries around the world use it as their standard round, partly because international law discourages the use of expanding bullets in warfare. It passes through targets without much deformation, which is both its strength and its limitation.
Hollow point. The tip of this bullet has a small cavity cut into it, and that cavity changes everything. When it hits a soft target, the tip opens up like a flower, expanding the diameter of the bullet. This expansion slows the bullet down inside the target, transferring more energy and reducing the chance of it passing through and hitting something unintended. Police and civilian defenders often use hollow points for exactly this reason. It is widely considered the more responsible choice for home defense because of how it behaves on impact.
Soft point. This one sits between full metal jacket and hollow point. The core is still lead, and most of it is jacketed, but the very tip is left exposed. That exposed lead causes the bullet to expand on impact, though more slowly and less dramatically than a hollow point. Hunters favor soft points because the controlled expansion causes significant damage to tissue, while still giving the bullet enough momentum to reach vital organs on larger animals. It is a practical design that has been in use for well over a century.
Armor piercing. This bullet was built with one specific problem in mind: hard barriers. Instead of a soft lead core, it uses a hardened steel or tungsten penetrator. That core punches through materials that would stop an ordinary round, including body armor and light vehicle plating. Armor-piercing rounds were developed heavily during the World Wars, when armored vehicles became common on the battlefield. Many countries now restrict civilian ownership of these rounds because of how effectively they defeat protective equipment.
Boat tail. The base of this bullet is tapered inward at a slight angle, which is where the name comes from. That taper reduces the aerodynamic drag that forms behind a bullet as it flies through the air. Less drag means better stability over long distances, which makes the round more accurate at range. Long-range competitive shooters and military snipers often use boat tail designs, and many modern rifle cartridges combine this shape with a hollow point tip to get the best of both worlds. Tracer. This bullet has a small pyrotechnic compound packed into its base. When fired, that compound ignites and burns as the bullet travels, leaving a visible streak of light through the air. Tracers were first used in World War I to help machine gunners adjust their aim in real time, without having to wait and observe where rounds were landing. They are usually loaded at intervals within an ammunition belt, one tracer for every few standard rounds. The same glowing streak that helps the shooter aim also tells the enemy exactly where the fire is coming from, which is the round's main drawback. Frangible. This bullet is designed to fall apart. It is made from compressed metal powder, usually copper and tin mixed together, and when it strikes a hard surface, it breaks into very small fragments. This makes it nearly useless against barriers, but that is the point. It was developed for training environments where ricochet is a serious danger, like indoor ranges with steel targets. Law enforcement and military trainers use frangible rounds so that a round striking a steel plate does not come flying back at the shooter. Subsonic. Standard bullets travel faster than the speed of sound, and that produces a sharp crack in the air. Subsonic rounds are loaded with less propellant, so the bullet stays below that speed threshold. The result is a much quieter shot, especially when paired with a suppressor. Without the supersonic crack, the only sound remaining is the mechanical action of the firearm and a soft thump from the suppressor. These rounds are popular in special operations because they significantly reduce how detectable a shooter is. The trade-off is reduced range and less energy at the target. Jacketed hollow point. This is essentially a refinement of the original hollow point concept. The expanding cavity is still there, but the entire bullet, including the rim of the hollow tip, is covered in a thin copper jacket. That jacket controls how the expansion happens, making it more consistent and reliable than older hollow point designs. It feeds through semi-automatic firearms more smoothly because the jacket prevents the lead from catching on the feed ramp. Most modern law enforcement agencies in the United States have standardized on jacketed hollow points as their duty ammunition. Rimfire. On this type of cartridge, the primer is not in the center of the base, but spread around the inside of the rim. When the firing pin strikes the rim, it crushes and ignites the primer compound. It is one of the oldest self-contained cartridge designs still in production. The most common version is the .22 caliber long rifle round, which has been in continuous production for over 140 years. Rimfire cartridges are inexpensive to manufacture, quiet by comparison to centerfire rounds, and mild enough in recoil that they are widely used for teaching new shooters and for small game hunting.
Centerfire. On this design, the primer sits in a small cup at the exact center of the cartridge base. It is the standard for most modern ammunition, from handguns to rifles to shotgun slugs. One of its key advantages is that the spent primer can be removed and replaced, which is why centerfire brass casings are reloaded and reused by handloaders. Centerfire cartridges are more reliable than rimfire in cold and wet conditions, and they can handle much higher pressures, which is what allows them to push heavier bullets at greater velocities.
Buckshot. This is not a single projectile, but a cluster of large metal balls loaded into a shotgun shell. When fired, the shell releases multiple pellets at once, each one capable of causing serious damage on its own. The spread of those pellets increases with distance, which makes buckshot effective in close-range situations where precise aim is difficult. It has been used in military and law enforcement roles for decades and remains a standard choice for home defense. The size of the pellets varies, with double-aught buckshot being the most commonly referenced load for defensive use. Slug. Where buckshot fills a shotgun shell with many pellets, a slug puts a single large projectile inside. It functions more like a rifle round, giving the shotgun accurate range far beyond what buckshot can achieve. Hunters use slugs for deer in regions where rifles are restricted due to population density. Some slugs have a hollow base or rifling pressed into them to improve stability in flight. A shotgun slug at close range delivers an enormous amount of energy to the target, making it one of the most powerful projectiles available from a standard firearm.